Hey guys, Spencer here. Actually doing a project for the first time here. I've never poured concrete before. I was in concrete coating before, but decided to actually pour a slab in the backyard. Over here we have a hot tub that we got off of Craigslist. Might make a video on that later because I was able to get a really nice hot tub for under $500 here. But yeah, here's the slab that we're gonna pour for the concrete. So this is half the slab that we poured last week. Came out pretty good. The edges and stuff could use a little bit of work, but honestly, for like the first slab, pretty happy with it. Now the process for these slabs here, I'll break this down real quick. So what we've done is we've dug out the dirt here. The yard's at a bit of an angle. So what we did is we dug out the dirt to make it level. That will also put the hot tub in the ground just a little bit. And then what we did on this one is we actually grabbed some river rock from the side of my yard. We moved it over here and we tamped it down. I'll actually grab that tamper real quick and show you that. So this is just a little manual tamper that we use. You can also use a machine one. It just kind of goes over the ground and vibrates to level off the rock that you use. So this is just a manual one that I borrowed from a family member. So you just go across and you just tamp it down as you go. After getting the rock nice and level at the bottom, what I got was some welded wire mesh. And that's this rusted stuff at the bottom here. It just comes rusted. And then what we did to lift it up just a little bit so it sits more in the middle of the concrete is we broke down a little, it was used for packaging and it's just styrofoam. So we cut that up, we spaced it up just a little bit, that way the welded wire mesh doesn't sit at the bottom, it sits more in the middle. And then we built this frame out of 2x4s here to hold all the concrete in, and then we staked it just so that as the concrete's getting poured, it's not expanding or changing the shape of the frame there. Here we have our concrete mixer. It is optional. You can mix the concrete within a wheelbarrow and just use a shovel and some water to mix it up and get it to a good consistency. I've got a neighbor, you can actually see his house in the background there, that was nice enough to lend this to me. For what we're doing here, all the bags that we're using, definitely is helpful to have a mixer. You can rent these at Home Depot, you can find a neighbor that has one, or worst case, you can just use a shovel and a bucket and you can mix it by hand. All right, so what we're gonna do now is level out the concrete we have here. So just get a large 2x4 and we'll run it along the top of the frame here on either side. What that'll do is show us like where low spots are, but also it'll level out the high spots. So since it's kind of a long slab, we'll just take turns going back and forth. All right, so this is the last step to the process, and this is the fun part of the process. So this is the troweling, and what we'll do for the troweling is we'll come out here every 20-30 minutes as the concrete's starting to set up, and we'll just trowel the top layer of it. As you can see in initially doing the troweling, there's some lines that the trowel made. So as you come out here and continue to trowel as it's setting, it'll remove some of those lines. So just hold it at a little bit of an angle, and you're just gonna slightly go over the surface. And that'll give our concrete a nice finish there. Now, since this concrete is gonna be under a hot tub, I'm not gonna do like a brush finish or anything like that. But as the concrete is getting pretty close to being set up, if you wanna give it a nice brush finish for texture, you can take a big push broom and just run it over the top. So we have this trowel for the top surface here. And then we have this trowel that has a little bit of an angle to it. And how we use this one is we just come to these edges. And because the concrete's pretty wet right now, I'm not gonna do it too hard yet. But we'll just come, we'll make a little bit of an indent along the edges. All right, I just took the 2x4s, the frame off the concrete here. The front slab's a little darker just because the slab behind it was poured first. It is also a little wet right now, but all in all, the slab came out really good. As you can see, we're about 3 inches deep, 3.5 inches deep, and the slab is perfectly level. So it should be great for the hot tub that we're gonna move on to it, and I appreciate you guys watching the video. If you have any questions, feel free to post those in the comments.